Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hillsborough Township Planning Board meeting of February 8th, 2024. Please join me in a salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be advised this meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Publics Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Notice of the 2024 annual meeting schedule has been provided to the officially designated newspapers, the Township Clerk, posted on the Township's website, and available here at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex. In addition, application documents and plans have been made available on the Township Civic Clerk website at least 10 days in advance of this evening's meeting. Complete application files are available in the Planning and Zoning Department for inspection in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Notice. With that, may I have a roll call of board members and also board and township professionals, please?
Mr. Scobo and Mr. Delcor are absent. Mr. Wagner?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Radowitz?
Here.
Mr. Deb?
Here.
Committeeman Lapani?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Ciccarelli?
Here.
Vice Chair Peason?
Present.
Chair Sirachi?
Here.
Mr. Coyce?
Present.
Mr. Bernstein?
Here.
Mr. Mayhew?
Here.
And myself and the videographer are here.
Okay, welcome everyone. I have a few things before we get to this evening's public hearing. First up is we have consideration of the January 25th, 2024 meeting minutes. Mr. Bernstein, who's eligible?
Eligible members, Mr. Chairman, are Mr. Wagner, Ms. Smith, Mr. Deb, Committeeman Lapani, and yourself.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I get into the speaker. It's all good. Okay, any comments from the day?
Who got that? Who's the?
I have Raj.
He's got Mr. Deb.
Thank you.
I think we both went together. It's okay, I'll yield.
Any comments from the dais? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Deb?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Chair Sirachi?
Yes. Next up, we have a couple of resolutions. First one is the Hillsborough Township BOE for Sunny Mead Elementary School for their pavilion with the file number of 23-PB-20-INF. Mr. Bernstein, who's eligible?
The eligible members are Mr. Wagner, Mr. Radowitz, Committeeman Lapani, Deputy Mayor Ciccarelli, Vice Chair Peason, and yourself.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Comments from the dais? Oh. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Radowitz?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Vice Chair Peason?
Yes.
Chair Sirachi?
Yes. Next resolution, again, Hillsborough Township BOE, this time for Triangle Elementary School, extension of their playground with a file number of 23-PB-21-INF. Mr. Bernstein. Same core. Okay. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Radowitz?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Vice Chair Peason?
Yes.
Chair Sirachi?
Yes. Next, we do have one item for planning board business involving 1170 Millstone LLC, file number 22-PB-09-MSPV. It's an extension for time of decision provided through June 1st of this year. Mr. Coyce?
Nothing to report on this, just that we needed action to be taken, and they sent in the signed extension.
Okay, anything for us to formally
You need to pass a resolution accepting.
Okay, may I have a motion accepting the time of decision to June 1st of this year?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Radowitz?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Chair Sirachi?
Yes, we do not have any ordinance for consideration, so we'll move from business from the floor for matters not on this evening's agenda. Please come up, state your name and address for the record. Again, as in the past, no comments on warehouses in general because we have several active applications, and please keep comments to 5 minutes.
We just have to remember to
No,
go
you
back to
720 East Brent
Yep.
Avenue, Mango, New Jersey. I'm also a Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 32155 Franklin Road. Chairman Sarachi, why can we not discuss warehouse applications? Are we permitted to discuss other applications, and just warehouse applications are forbidden?
In general, no active applications, because they're obviously active. If there's any that have concluded, you're free to comment on those. Just with warehouses in general, it's just direct or indirect comment, just because we want to get those on the record during those hearings, just to be in fairness of those applicants.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, other active applications are permitted to be discussed? It's only the warehouse applications that are not permitted to be discussed?
No, you can't discuss active applications either.
Active warehouse applications.
Active warehouse, but other active applications in general.
What was that answer from Mr.
Nothing.
No.
No?
No, I think he was just going, He didn't really say anything.
Well, I would like to get a response from Attorney Bernstein.
Board has the right to establish what it will and will not hear during the public session in relation to active applications to ensure that there are no comments made either by the public or by the board that have an impact in the absence of individuals involved in the applications themselves.
So that pertains to every application before the board.
That's
Yes,
currently active.
Open.
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 Yes.
What are considered environmental concerns on the application?
That's
Environmental concerns,
Like,
It's a very broad term.
Yeah,
whatever you want.
That's like the
whatever the board determines them to be based upon the application in question and where they receive an environmental commission report to the extent they address that as well. But ultimately, it's the board's determination to address environmental issues on each and every application where applicable.
So, what I've seen on applications that are submitted to this planning board, there's a question, are there any environmental concerns? And I've seen an answer given as none, N-O-N-E, and then later on, there's discussion about freshwater wetlands, contamination, flood hazard areas, a gas pipeline. Are those not environmental concerns? Shouldn't that
I
be
mean,
part of
If the applicant chooses to answer the question no, they do so at their own risk.
And I think you've asked this question at least twice before, Ms. Janusik, and we've given you the same answer. It doesn't change.
It doesn't disqualify their app.
I'm sorry, okay, just a moment, okay, please. Attorney Bernstein stated what? That the applicant can do
If the
their own-
I'm assuming, ma'am, you are referring to answers on applications from applicants where a question is asked, are there any environmental concerns? And the answer, no. And then it turns out that's not true. That means that the applicant is at risk for dealing with that issue as it relates to the overall application. What it doesn't do is it doesn't disqualify them from bringing the application forward. However, if they chose to tell the board and the board professionals there are no environmental issues, and there turn out to be, then obviously whatever comes out of it is what comes out of it. But it doesn't disqualify them from at least commencing their application.
Okay, so the application is signed by the property owner. Some of these applications are submitted by someone else who is a contract purchaser,
Mhm.
and the owner signs that there are no environmental concerns, and yet it's been disclosed somewhere that there are. So how is that permissible when that?
Because the municipal land use law does not forbid an applicant from moving forward, including where they don't tell the full results to the board. However, they take it at their own risk. If you come to the board and say there are no environmental concerns, and it turns out there are a litany of them, the board is going to take that into consideration, A, in terms of the issues themselves, and B, what the applicant did or did not say or did not place on their application, and what other issues they may not have addressed. But they are not disqualified from moving forward with an application.
Okay, so we members of the public, when we come up and it's starting to be discussed that there are freshwater wetlands, there's a flood hazard area, why do we discuss that if supposedly there are no environmental concerns? What do we say?
Ms. Janusik, that's what comes out in testimony. I mean, if you say there's no environmental concerns and later on you find out, the spotted turtle is nesting there, that doesn't invalidate the whole application. It doesn't.
Nor does
Well,
it.
we're talking about environmental concerns. You're
Nor does it-
talking about that.
Nor does it prevent the public from.
Wetlands that need permits from the NJDEP. I'm talking about flood hazard areas that need permits from the NJDEP. I'm talking about contamination. I'm talking about a gas pipeline.
Ms. Janusik,
Okay,
Ms.
that's-
Janusik, in all due respect, I think you say your time's up. You've asked this question, we've given you the same answer every time, yet you don't want to believe it. So the answer is, they have the right to put the application, what they feel is there or not. It does not preclude how the application goes forward. Our due diligence, our engineers, their testimony will pull out or any issues that come about, and then it will be dealt with at that time. That's the answer. Whether you don't want to believe us again and ask us again in 3 months the same question, that's the same answer you're going to get, okay? And your time is up.
This is a quasi-judicial body, and I would think that honest answers should be
Yeah.
provided.
So-
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members from the public? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to this evening's public hearing. We have one application on this evening, 303.
We have two. Yeah,
Do we have two?
two.
Oh, look at that. Yes, okay. I was hopeful.
Well, you have one and one.
Yes, no, I know, okay. All right. So we have two. First up, 303 Amwell Road, JMJ 4, BLLE LLC with file number 21-PB-17-MSPV with time of decision June 1st of this year. The application was adjourned to
Mr. Chairman, this is a situation similar to the 1170 Millstone LLC application. The applicant has provided to the Planning Department an extension on the time of decision through June 1. We are asking for the board to accept that request and continue the application through June 1 with, obviously, if it is not resolved prior to that, we will have to deal with it accordingly at the appropriate time.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any comments from the dais? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Radowitz. Committeeman Lapani.
Yes.
Chair Sarachi.
Yes. Okay. Now we move on to the main event.
Well, Beeson says yes, too.
He's not listening.
Did I hear a motion? Did I hear a motion to adjourn?
Okay. First up, next, Hillsborough Center LLC, file number 23-PB-14-SP, time of decision March 11th of this year. And let's see, block 200.10, lots 5.01, 5.02, Route 206 and 649 Route 206. And I will just turn it over to the applicant to give us the background.
Good evening.
Thank you.
This on?
Should be, you gotta get a little close.
Okay. For the record, Anthony Zerlo III from the law firm of Valence, Goldman & Spitzer, on behalf of the applicant. Good? All right. Anthony, for the record, Anthony Zerlo III from the law firm of Valence, Goldman & Spitzer, on behalf of the applicant, Hillsborough Center LLC. The applicant is seeking-
Counselor, can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Yes, Z-A-R-I-L-L-O.
Thank you.
The applicant is seeking minor site plan approval to construct a 12-foot by 12-foot trash enclosure with concrete pad, new Belgian block curb, and landscaping on property located at 649 Route 206, identified as Block 200.10, Lot 5.01 and 5.02 on the Townships tax maps. The property is located in the TC Town Center District. The accessory use for the trash enclosure is permitted by the ordinance as an accessory use. The applicant is seeking this proposal on behalf of Goodwill Industries of Greater New York and Northern New Jersey, who is one of the tenants of the shopping center. The trash enclosure will be constructed to the rear of the northern portion of the existing strip mall, and minor site plan approval is appropriate pursuant to ordinance section 188-31, as the proposal involves less than 5,000 square feet of improvement, does not involve planned development, nor any new street or extension of any off-track improvement, and no changes are proposed to the existing commercial retail buildings, and no variances or design waivers are sought. In support of the approval, the applicant will present the testimony of Thomas Decker of Van Cleef Engineering Associates, and he's the site engineer who prepared the plans this evening. And finally, as a matter of record keeping, the applicant is in receipt of 2 review letters, the first of which was by Board Engineer Mark Mayhew of Pannoni Associates Incorporated. The review letter is dated February 2nd, 2024, and the second is from Planning Director David Coyce. The review letter is dated February 6, 2024, last revised February 7th, 2024. With that said, we'll call our witness, Mr. Thomas Decker.
Swear you in.
You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Let the record state anything to make sure you might
Sure. Thomas Decker. Oh, there we go. How's that? Thomas Decker, D-E-C-K-E-R, licensed professional engineer at Van Cleef Engineering, have appeared before this board on numerous occasions, including the apartment complex located to the rear of this property several years ago.
Mr. Cirillo, for the purpose of the record, could you obtain from your expert witness his educational experience, his licensures, and whether they are current, please?
Be happy to. I have a bachelor's of science in civil engineering from Rutgers University. I am a licensed professional engineer, have been licensed since 1993. My license is current and in good standing. I'm also a licensed professional planner. However, there are no variances or anything required for this application. I serve as the municipal engineer in 4 municipalities, 3 in Hunterdon County, 1 in Middlesex County, so I spend a lot of my time on your side of the dais.
Okay. Any objections? Hearing none, we accept. Please proceed.
So preliminary, Mr. Decker, could you just describe your role is for this project?
Yes. As I stated earlier, this is a shopping center that has been going through a bit of a renewal over the past few years. New tenants, upgrades to the facilities, the 42-unit apartment complex to the rear. Back in 2017, we received a zoning permit for a similar type of dumpster enclosure as we proposed tonight for when Chipotle became a tenant. And there's another set of dumpsters to the rear that was upgraded as part of the 42-unit apartment complex. As was stated, Goodwill is now a new tenant. They have a need for a dumpster and trash enclosure, which is the subject of tonight's application. I have on the screen, this is the set of plans that was submitted. This is already on file with the township. I don't intend on bringing in any other exhibits for a trash enclosure.
We need to mark this A1.
Are you going to refer to individual?
I'll refer to individual sheets within this plan set.
Then we'll mark those accordingly.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to mark this A1. Mr. Decker, would you indicate to the public and the board what A1 represents?
Yes, A1 represents, it is the sheet number 2 in the plan set, and it is titled Existing Conditions Overall. This is to give the board an idea of where on the project, or where on the site, the proposed trash rack is to be located, and the trash rack is to be located in the northern portion of the site to the rear of, to the rear of the northerly strip mall portion. In this location, as I'm highlighting and as I'm circling in the middle, which is approximately along the center line of that building. I will now go to the next sheet.
that I'll reference. This will be sheet number 4, and this is titled Site Plan, parentheses, Trash Enclosure. This shows the particular location of the trash enclosure. Again, it's to the rear of the existing retail building. It is a 12-foot by 12-foot pad with a vinyl clad fence enclosure, very similar to what exists now. For reference, the roadway or the drive is located on the upper portion of the page. As you go to the left, that takes you out to Route 206. To the left in this hatched area is the location of the Chipotle trash enclosure that was approved back in 2017 and installed in 2018. When that was approved, there were slight alterations made to the island where the proposed trash enclosure will be. Those improvements were done, inspected, and approved, and it's been active. The current proposal is, again, for a 12-foot by 12-foot trash enclosure. Modifications to the island, there will be the removal of 4 white pine evergreen trees. An inlet will be converted from a typical curb-type inlet to a flat grate. And we will also be installing, we propose to install 8 green giant arborvitaes within the narrowed island. The hatching that you see there is striping on the road to prevent parking and so forth. We did see in Mr. Coyce's letter a comment with regards to a no parking sign. We'll certainly comply with that. There is a total increase of impervious of approximately 317 square feet. We have a credit on this property from back when we did Starbucks and so forth. We've been keeping a running total. And after the 42-unit apartment building was constructed, there was a net reduction of 1,741 square feet. Now that we're adding in 317 square feet of additional impervious, our net reduction has been dropped to 1,424. So we have not increased any additional impervious coverage that would require any stormwater management measures. At this point, I can go through the review letters that we've received. They're fairly brief, and we have answers to all the comments. The first one I'll go through is the February 2nd review letter from Pannoni. Comments begin on the second page. There are 5 general comments. The first comment is a comment that requires no response. It's a statement of fact. Number 2 is with regards to the trees. As previously stated, we are removing 4 evergreen trees. We're putting back in 8 green giant arborvitae. We recognize that the ordinance requires that they be replaced in kind. However, in this particular location, the white pines have a broader growth pattern, and we have a narrow island there that they would really overgrow and occupy the island and overhang into the roadway. So what we're proposing is, in lieu of those white pines, to put in the arborvitae, which are more of a column type planting. They're commonly used for screening. And to be honest, I think that they would provide a better screen than the white pines that are out there now, because the white pines their branches are very spaced pretty wide going up, and landscapers typically will prune the lower branches so that they can maintain the mulch and mow underneath. So we think that the arborvitae would be a preferred species. As far as size, I know that the ordinance requires that the replaced size be a 3-inch in caliper. Caliper is typically for a conifer, for a deciduous plant tree. When we're talking about the evergreens, it's based off of height, and according to the buffer ordinance within a township, evergreens are required to be a minimum of 4 foot in height at time of planting. We're proposing 5 to 6 foot. So we would be exceeding the buffer requirement, but the 3-inch caliper, a 3-inch arborvitae is a pretty well-established tree and probably wouldn't survive anyway. Item number 3, with regards to inlet details, we'll certainly add that to the plan. Total limit of disturbance, we'll also add that to the plan. It's approximately 600 square feet. As far as the lighting, there are existing lights on the site. There is a light located just behind the proposed dumpster or trash enclosure and to the left. That illuminates the driveway running to the north. Then there are also building-mounted lights along the entire rear that illuminates that area that have been there since the building was first constructed and adequately illuminate that area. So I would request that that would be satisfactory to the engineer. And then that concludes the Pannoni letter. The next memorandum is from your planner, David Coyce. It's dated February 6th. And the comments, I believe, Mr. Coyce can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they start at the bottom of the second page under other. And again, that discusses the trees, which we've already provided testimony to. Item number 2 on page 3 discusses the no parking sign, which we agree that we will provide. Item number 3 discusses a crosswalk. This crosswalk was proposed as part of the 42 unit affordable housing apartment building to the rear. Originally, that crosswalk was proposed to be, if you're looking at the picture in Mr. Coyce's review letter, at the closer intersection in the photo. However, due to geometry and grade, we were unable to extend a sidewalk along the front of the strip mall where those plantings are on the left-hand side. So in working with the township engineer and planner at the time, it was relocated to its current location, which is shown where you have the fluorescent yellow crosswalk signs, and the sidewalk, rather than being placed on the building side of the drive, was placed on the opposite side and connects to a new sidewalk that goes out to Route 206. That went through engineering and planning, and it was reviewed and approved as part of the CO for the 42-unit apartment complex. And I believe that was all of the comments from both letters.
Could you just discuss who will be responsible for maintaining the trash enclosure?
The trash enclosure will be maintained by the property owners. It'll enclose a dumpster and recycling, both of which will be collected by a private hauler, as is the case for all of the dumpsters on the site.
Okay, and then could you just discuss a little bit more of the need for Goodwill's need for the dumpster?
Well, Goodwill, as we're finding with all the tenants, are in need of their own dumpster location. They do have, generation of material that needs to be disposed of. So they need the extra capacity, and pickups will be scheduled, regularly as needed. We did I can go to the exhibit, but we did do turning movements and so forth, and a garbage truck can adequately access this trash enclosure from both directions, either as a front loader or a rear loader.
And how often do you anticipate the trash be picked up?
I don't really know. It'll be on a regular basis and such that there's no overflow of trash.
And then could you just kind of discuss the grading on the site and those indicated in the plans?
The grading on the site will not be modified appreciably, if at all. Again, we'll be removing some landscape area, extending some paved area. Everything will grade properly and drain to the existing inlet that is there.
And then just turning back to the trees again, will the removal and installation of all those trees comply with the township ordinance?
We believe so, yes.
And then if you could just discuss confirm that there's a lack of flood hazard area concerns?
Yes, the flood, to address this, I'll go back to the overall existing plan. I believe this was Exhibit A1.
Yes.
So to give orientation, there is a stream to the rear of the property. Delaware Raritan Canal, when we came in for the 42-unit apartment complex, we had to get Delaware Raritan Canal Commission approval. There were stream corridors and so forth established. They are well to the rear of the property and hundreds of feet away from this dumpster location.
And then, is the applicant going to agree to obtain approval from the utility easement owner for the proposed construction?
There's a water line easement that goes through there. If we need approval from them, we will. We also have some outside agency approvals. We've already obtained a no interest from Somerset County Planning, Soil Conservation, and we are in the process of getting the same from Delaware Raritan Canal Commission. And once we receive that, we'll certainly forward it to the town for their records.
Okay, and that's all the outside agency approvals?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. I believe that is all the direct testimony I have from Mr. Decker.
Thank you. Ms. Mayhew?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Decker's testimony on the adequacy of the existing lighting and that the applicant does not intend to modify the lighting, in my opinion, addresses our comment number 5. So I don't see the need for the applicant to prepare a lighting plan based on the testimony. Our office would be comfortable as far as item number 2, utilizing arborvitaes. We appreciate the narrowness of the island. I would caution that possibly the arborvitaes chosen might even exceed the 3-foot wide curb area, and there might be a smaller species of arborvitae that might be more appropriate.
We can certainly work with your office on that.
With that, I believe that the applicant has addressed our comments.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Coyce?
Mr. Chairman, all my comments and concerns were addressed. I have nothing to ask. Thank you.
Bernstein?
Mr. Decker, I believe you testified that it is the responsibility of the owner of the facility relative to trash collection. Is that correct?
Correct.
Who is the owner of the establishment?
It's Ronson 3 Ronson LLC. 3 Ronson LLC.
Counselor, can we receive from 3 Ronson LLC a letter that indicates that they are in fact going to be responsible for the trash pickup, and to also indicate for the purpose of the record how often trash will be picked up at the site?
Yeah, we can absolutely
Provide that to Mr. Coyce and Mr. Mayhew. Thank you, Mr. Decker.
You're welcome.
Board members?
I have a question. How big of a dumpster is going to be in the location?
Well, it's a 12 by 12 pad.
Correct.
And there's if I may, I'll go. We do have a plan that shows the layout of the dumpster enclosure itself. And I believe, Mr. Bernstein, this would be A3. Oops. And this is plan titled Construction Details, Turning Template, sheet 6 of 7.
Let the record reflect at 7:42, Mr. Scobo arrived.
I've zoomed in on that section of the plan at the bottom center, and on the left-hand side, you can see the 12 by 12 dumpster. To the left, there's a series of different dumpster sizes depending on their need. So that side will fit between a 1.5 and a 3 cubic yard dumpster, and then on the right-hand side is dedicated for recycling.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Nisam.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, some clarification, because a different name was provided as the owner than what we have on as part of the record of the application. So for the record of the application, we have Hillsborough Center LLC. So just clarification in terms of correspondence coming in, that it comes from the appropriate.
The owner is Hillsborough Center LLC.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Decker, in that diagram there, can you indicate how high the fence is that's around the enclosure?
Yes, and on the note in this area says that the fence height will be 6 foot.
6 foot. Could I ask the owner, instead of putting a 5-foot arborvitae, to put a 6-foot arborvitae, just so that we are screening the entire enclosure with the tree from the beginning? That
Yes.
nominal charge?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not a problem.
And I would also, to your sense, there are arborvitae that are deer resistant, because a normal arborvitae, as you know, are deer candy in this area. So I'd hate to have them plant a bunch of trees and they become popsicle sticks the next day. So I would encourage them to pick a deer resistant variety.
We will certainly work with your professionals.
Yes. And my last thing is actually the picture that in Mr. Coyce's last comment about the sidewalk crossing. The stop sign that was put in, obviously, because of the way the road is kind of off in the corner behind the plants. And I know this isn't really part of this application, but the owner is here. Isn't it typical that there is some sort of painting on the roadway to indicate a stop, so that if they
Yes.
don't see the sign, that they recognize it?
A typical stop bar.
Yes.
That would be painted there.
I know that intersection is blind, and especially with people going into the apartments and coming out of the apartments, I would think that would be a good safety mark there.
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Does the owner concur, Counselor?
Just a painting, it's 2 foot wide.
Yes, we'll read that.
Thank you. Add that to your conditions.
Any other comments from dais? Okay, may I have a motion to open to public?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If there's anyone from the public that would like to question Mr. Decker on his testimony, please come up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Maria Jennison, 720 East Grand Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. There was a comment made.
Is that mic on? Is that mic on? Doesn't sound like it's on.
Thank you. There was a comment made about something draining to the existing inlet. What is that about?
I will pull up I believe it was A2. If you can see on the screen, I've zoomed in. This structure that I'm circling is an inlet that is situated along an existing curb. That curb will be relocated to accommodate access to the trash enclosure, and that inlet will be converted so that it's no longer a curb inlet. It will be a flat 4 foot by 4 foot grate. So the drainage that was going to that inlet before will continue to go to that inlet.
Just a change in In what? It's no curb, it'll be flat?
Correct.
Okay. You said you need approval from the Delaware and Raritan Canal Commission? What is
Yes.
that for?
That is because the property is located within the DNR Canal Zone B, and it is the board's practice that they require applicants to obtain either a permit or a letter of no interest from applicable agencies. As I testified before, we have those letters from the Somerset County Planning Board and from the Somerset Union Soil Conservation District. We are waiting to receive that also from the Delaware Raritan Canal Commission. I've been in communication with the director, and we anticipate getting that letter of no interest.
So that is required for this project, or that's required from the original project?
No. The Delaware Raritan Canal Commission issued an approval for the 42-unit apartment complex. That was done a few years ago. This project, even though it's not within or adjacent to the canal or within 300 feet or even 500 feet of the existing waterway, because the property is within their zone, their review zone, they have the ability to review it, and they will be issuing a letter that they have no jurisdiction.
So they were already contacted in regard to this? You're waiting for a
Yes.
reply?
Yes, we've already submitted. We've received a response from them, and that response was to provide them with some additional information demonstrating, as I had testified before, that the net impervious coverage on the site overall has been reduced, and therefore no stormwater management is required.
Okay. You mentioned also that there are streams over there. Is that heaven? What is
There are
the
streams
situation?
on the property. However, they are located to the very rear of the property, and by rear I mean if you're looking at the site from Route 206 to the very rear of the building and the parking lot, there is a stream which has a stream corridor and conservation easement that was applied to it as part of the 42-unit apartment complex approved several years ago.
And did you also mention that there was a flood hazard area?
That is located in the same area, and it has no impact on this trash enclosure.
There's no impact on that, but there would have been permits provided from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for that flood hazard area?
The flood hazard area was determined to be well beyond the limits of the improvements on the property. This is already on an existing improved site, and as such, the state recognizes that there are improvements, and approvals for the rear of the site were probably obtained decades ago. But this particular application does not have any DEP approvals required.
You're talking about this one today, this one?
This is the subject of tonight's application, yes.
Okay. Now, where is the sidewalk crossing? There's a mention of...
I testified to that previously. There is a picture on in the Mr. Coyce's review letter, and I can again go back to Exhibit A1, and this crosswalk was part of the previous apartment complex and is not part of this application. Mr. Coyce, and I'm back on Exhibit A1, and I'm zoomed in. You can see where I'm indicating on the screen. This is the location of the original crosswalk. That crosswalk is now moved down the page to this location, which is actually at a safer location. As Mr. Lapani had indicated before, that there's kind of a blind corner here. So that crosswalk was brought down, and a sidewalk was installed on the opposite side of the building along the parking area between the drive and continues down to 206, and that was installed under the prior application.
So I just wrote over here something about blind intersection. Is that the one that's being changed?
There is no change to the intersection. What Mr. Lapani had asked, and we agreed that it's a good idea, is to install a stop bar at the intersection, which is this intersection here, to provide additional notice to a driver that there is a stop intersection. It makes sense, and we will have stripers out there anyway doing some striping around the dumpster, so it makes sense.
Okay. And what is the name of the owner of this, it's saying Hillsborough Center LLC, but then there was mention of, what is it, L. Ronson?
I believe that was clarified. I misspoke previously because 3 Ronson LLC was the previous applicant. The current, and as is typical when properties are acquired, new LLCs are formed. The current owner of the property is Hillsborough Center LLC, as stipulated earlier.
So the name of the owner has changed since the prior project, and now this is being called Hillsborough Center LLC?
The current owner of the property is Hillsborough Center LLC.
Current. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other members from the public? Okay, seeing none, motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any final comments from board? Okay. Mr. Bernstein?
Counselor have final comments on behalf of
Yeah,
his
sure.
client?
No other comments other than that we would appreciate the approval.
Sure you don't want to sum it up?
Stretch it out a little bit.
No.
Teasing.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeking the minor site plan approval to construct the trash enclosure. It's a permitted accessory use. We're requiring no variances or design waivers, and the application is fully conforming. And with that, I would urge the board to grant the approval.
And you agree to all the stipulations that we discussed?
Yes, we read all the stipulations, yes.
All the stipulations and the reports, the comments of Mr. Mayu and Mr. Coyce, as well as the conditions agreed upon by the applicant's engineer and the owner during this meeting this evening.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
So next up is, may I have a motion to approve this application with all the stipulations, conditions that were agreed to this evening?
Mr. Chairman, I move file 23 PB 14 SP.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Ciccarelli, one.
Fast on the draw.
He's got more experience.
I was ready.
That's it. Okay. With that, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Radowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Deb.
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani.
I haven't did a vote in so long, I almost forget how to do it. Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ciccarelli.
Yes.
Vice Chair Peason.
Yes.
Chair Sirachi.
Yes.
Call Mr. Scoba.
Mr. Scoba.
Abstain. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Zerillo, I'm led to believe that you will be allowed to go back to your firm tomorrow.
That was his first application.
Thank you, everyone.
Take it from me, it's downhill from here.
Your perfect record will be done.
It won't last long.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Coyce, any announcements other than, I know we have a business meeting scheduled. We don't have anything on the agenda, so can we entertain a motion to cancel?
So moved.
There's a motion to cancel the February 22nd, 2024 business meeting.
Second that.
Okay. Comments? Roll call.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Scobo.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Radowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Deb.
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ciccarelli.
Yes.
Vice Chair Peason.
Yes.
Chair Sirachi.
Yes. And our next meeting is March 7th, and I know we have
A warehouse application, what a surprise that will be.
March 7th.
No. We could make him come back.
I think it would be a worthwhile experience, quite honest. Okay, so with that, I will entertain a motion of adjournment.
So moved.
I think I'll second it, but I'm not used to adjourning this early, so I think we should just keep going on with something.
I know
Mike, you want to
some-
stay for a while?
I know, no overtime.
But I will second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. See everyone on March 7th. Good night.